it in the most myself.
Yep.
I like to learn how to do everything everybody else knows how to do.
Well, you'll be useful
And
then.
I think, go ahead.
I was just going to say, when we get it all together, this is a kind of a far future thing, I'm thinking, but the different areas that we're teaching in, you know, the gardening and the wild food and, you know, being sufficient, if everybody, you know, everybody is going to be different people teaching the different classes, that sometime during the year, all those classes get together and we go somewhere, and the better we get, the better we can do, but put our knowledge to
Put our
work.
skills to work.
Yeah, all of them, all the little ones that you're getting from all the different classes, get them together.
Have a get together. Not just a potluck, but a demonstration.
Well, I mean, go out. You spend all year learning this stuff from the different people, and then the ones who want to get together in a group and go out and see how good or how difficult it really is to live off land or off
And
grid.
you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's other people already doing this stuff. And so instead of having to figure it out on your own, there's a wealth of information out there. People are actually doing what we're talking about. They've already been in the process of doing it. And you can learn from their mistakes too, because the wise man learns from other people's mistakes. I've heard people say that the best way to learn is the hard way, and it's like, no, that's the most effective way, but the best way to learn is the wisest way to look at what people have done. And
We need, well, one of the projects we need to do is find other people in these two counties, Sevier and Cock, who are thinking like we are,
yeah,
Well,
and bring them all together.
There are, but they haven't been here, so if we get this online, like, you know, Trish is doing that, I hope, recording this, then we can get other people. Thank you, Trish. Can you put this on the group page? Thank you.
Oh, great. Everybody's going to
Thank
be,
you.
who's the fat guy?
which one? There's two of us here.
I think you'd be the little fat guy.
So, I like all I like all the talking, I like all, you know, the concepts and all, but I like dirt, I like action. And let me tell you one thing in Chicago that I really missed, that I couldn't wait to get back here, was the smell of dirt. And I used to put my hands in this little smell of dirt in my backyard in Chicago with all the wires and the smog. And okay, that sort of smells like dirt, but you know, but it's wait, hold on.
I'm waiting. Just remember my hand was up.
It's the smell of dirt, and it's getting our hands dirty. It's knowing the land. And I was reading this farming book, and I forgot to bring it. I'm sorry, but I did post a link to it, and I'll lend it to you too. It depends, you know, like, are we going to be a homestead? Are we going to be a farm? We are like almost a farm anyhow. We have to, what I read was that if we have a diverse product, not everybody grows the same thing. You know, somebody likes heirloom tomatoes, somebody, you know, can do squash, somebody, you know, if we can have at least one or two things that we grow that is different or exotic, because damn, vegetables out here are so hard. If we can have something different to grow, each one of us, you know, we have our land, if we can grow something different.
So we shouldn't all grow zucchini then, huh?
Or gourds.
Why not? I love soup.
Or gourds. Or gourds.
Got edible gourd seeds?
Well, yeah, edibles, okay. But, you know, it's just something different. And they had farm stands. Eventually they ended up having farm stands, and they would put their farm stands, and that's how they would sort of make a little money. I mean, to me, I'm not in this, like, for the money. I'm in this because this is it. I'm in this. This is where...
Your heart is in this.
My heart is in it.
Well, if you get it in the farm stands, though, you're going to draw people to communicate with. It's going to be like that's going to be like your cornerstone, and everybody's going to come to that.
You can have a farm stand right on this road. Enough people come
Well, they got the one downtown too that meets in the summer, the farmers market.
I know the people that
I
run
really need some people to sell stuff there.
it. I know people that run it. I know Tiffany and I know Amelia Taylor. Amelia Taylor was supposed to show up, but I don't know where she is. But
Actually, that
they
would work there. There's certain crops that grow good here and certain that I have problems with. My very best crop is okra. And I like okra, but...
Yes, zucchini the same
I'm
thing.
sorry, I'm saying this as a born and bred Yankee. I would rather suck the guts out of a garden slug.
I gotta have it
Uh-oh,
fried.
Donna,
There'll be time for
Donna,
that.
chicken in the bread pan, picking out
Chicken in
dough.
the bread pan, chicken out dough.
Oh, he's got a piece of
He's
challah.
got
He's
one.
made
He
it.
got away with one. Yeah.
I was distracted by listening.
And the
Sorry.
chicken wins.
Donna's the chicken guardian.
He'll be back.
So yeah, this soil doesn't grow. We saw a show on. There was a show on the Rural Channel a few years ago, and the guy in Asheville, near Asheville, it was this real hippie guy with the longest beard I've ever seen, and he was growing. He was out there barefoot gardening, and he was growing celery. And celery just doesn't grow down here.
Whoa.
And he talked about how he had to work the soil and augment it until he got it loamy enough to grow celery. And he had some of the best celery growing, and he'd sell it to some of the restaurants in and around Asheville. And to, some of the chefs around there would actually go to him because his celery was like top grade celery.
How about romaine lettuce?
I think that a lot of the lettuce mixes grow pretty good here. I've tried it. That mescaline mix that I used to grow I'd have a little small miniature hothouse and get it started early.
I believe that's pronounced mesclun.
Mescaline, okay, well, that's what mescaline is.
Mescaline is a different.
That he knew about that.
Well, I've done
It's more of a cactus.
I was out of the 70s after all. But, there are certain things that just won't
I know
grow
something
here.
that grows real well, but we got to work on the legal aspect, and it's marijuana.
Yeah, well, right now
Hemp.
we
They have
can't.
to legalize it first.
Yeah, Tennessee ain't there.
Did you know I found a book on agriculture in my grandfather's house, and it had a chapter in there on growing hemp, just like it had a chapter on growing
The
tobacco.
U.S. government used to require farmers.
He was born in 1888.
There's a chicken.
He taught school for 4 years, a
They're
little
sneaking up on
one-room
you.
school.
They watch you.
It's
They
a
know
long
when you're-
story, but
you're
I'll
attention
shorten it
wanders.
because I know the attention span isn't too long here.
Well, we should
But
pay
anyway,
the book.
what he did notice during the period of time when he taught for 4 years in a one-room school, he said that it was during the year when, right around Christmas time coming up, when people like to go home for the holidays, they passed the Federal Reserve Act, sneaked it in because they knew that nobody would be there, and so that's what they had planned for people, okay, and they sneaked it through. And by golly, he said the very next thing that happened was they changed all the textbooks. Now, he did see that. He was born in 1888. Joe Jarrett Burden in Nicholas County, Kentucky. Okay?
Well, we got a lot to learn about our government.
We
Amen.
have a lot to learn.
And he talked about the day will come that we're talking about right here, all of his life.
Well, Jefferson knew about it.
Amen.
We fought a revolution to get away from a central bank.
And he said if you open your mouth too much, you'll be declared absolutely insane.
Oh, well.
Okay?
Done
Been
that.
I think, is there anything else?
Yeah, actually what I was getting at, I think the chickens took over.
Sorry.
No,
Donna's doing a good job.
Donna's the chicken
You're
lady.
a good chicken
I grew a lot of okra.
chicken wrangler.
I'd go out in the morning. I'd spend a couple hours picking okra every 2 or 3 days. But at the end of the week, I've got enough to sell at the roadside market to make maybe $20. It wasn't worth it to me to spend the money and the gas and the time to go into town, to go to the farmer's market, to set up and hope people buy. But if there's more growing, maybe even take turns setting up at the farmer's market because it'll be worth a little bit of everybody's that wants to try to get a little cash to...
Yeah.
There is a tradition I have
together.
noticed, a very good tradition around here I've noticed, and it's still alive. People that have extra produce, they take it to church. People coming out of church, can you use any of it? And they get rid of it real quick.
Right, and we want to do that too. We want to have like a
And this,
tithing.
like this
Amen.
you're talking about.
Yeah, we were talking about like a tithing area.
Well, this thing isn't shouldn't start out anyways as a way to make money.
Hey, money's what we're trying to deal with. It's a big problem, you know.
It'd be a nice little.
It's ingrained. We don't know how to live without it.
It'll be a nice little side benefit, but you know the important thing is we're trying to gain knowledge here and work with the earth. That's when I piddle in my backyard and grow my own gardens. I was not doing it to save money, because it doesn't save money. If I took all that time I worked and just worked overtime where I work, I'd make a whole lot more money. It's just the fact that I was learning how to work with plants and planning and all that stuff, and it's an educational experience. I mean, heck, we pay tons of money to go to college to learn, and you go work there, and then you learn from it and you benefit. So that's the same thing here, is you got to take it with that, not so much of a business.
We have had so little work in our lifetimes that we consider it recreation.
Mm-hmm.
Is the concept, the whole thing of changing from going out from a 9-to-5 job to kind of the community level? Because I'd much rather stay here and do what I can to support myself. Or I've looked at it, I can go out and I can make my $10, $15, $20 an hour. So when I get home, I can use my blender, I can use my microwave, I can use the canned food, I can use the dishwasher, I can use my washing machine, I can use my dryer, because I don't have enough time to do it myself the old-fashioned way. Because I spent 8 hours at work, an hour each way driving, half hour getting ready, and it's hard to make the transition back, because
when we talk about getting off the grid,
bills.
are we talking about making our own source of electricity and all this sort of thing?
Yes, we have a pre-care. Going to do that, and there's other off-the-grid ideas.
Now, do we know what happened to Waco?
I've been
You know?
researching it for a while.
Is that what they were doing?
People come under attack, you know. It's you can go look back through history, you know.
Yeah, when it gets to be a commune, like
And what about Guyana? What happened there, you know?
at where, Bianca?
Solar or
Jim Jones. You remember? How old were you? When were you born?
58.
I was born in '53.
Everybody would be doing it.
I remember Waco.
Please stay focused. I can't hear
Jim
two
Jones,
conversations
Gianna.
at once.
Okay,
I don't
we
really
have.
remember that one much.
Excuse me. Okay, did anybody hear Arnold about what he was saying? I heard, or did anybody hear? Did we hear both conversations, or what?
We can go back and listen to the tape, and I bet it's on there.
I'm sorry.
Well, you know, solar is about your only option here. Wind is not a viable thing. We're not out west where the wind blows super strong. We rarely get wind. It's not.
Oh, really?
Investment.
We
rarely-
don't.
We rarely get that kind of steady, daily,
Talking about the
everyday
steady
wind.
kind of breeze you need to
We get
Yeah.
occasional wind storms, but
Yeah.
like today, this is typical of
The
what
kind
you got.
that carries off buildings and
Yes.
rips roofs off of buildings.
Yeah, but you gotta
school
have it
buildings.
sustained minute by minute. Every
You just
day.
have to be ready when it happens and know how to
Yeah.
harness it, right?
No, that's not the viable option. You
Oh,
can't
come
harness-
on now.
You can't harness that much energy without.
I know it's been
So-
done before,
solar-
surely.
Solar is better out here.
Yeah.
And how about back in Egypt when they were had rockets and they ran it on water? The fuel was water. You can read about it in Encyclopedia Britannica,
property has
unless they've
water
taken it out.
Yeah, this has water. We have.
Well,
a
I don't know.
water source.
You're out of. I'm out of.
Well, I don't know either.
I don't know.
There's a lot I don't know too.
Yeah. So
Okay.
We have a lot of water source, and okay. So now that we discussed this, let's get up and let's tour the property.
Okay, I have some. I have a friend that lives in West Virginia, and he has property up there, and he doesn't like to be on the grid at all. You walk into his house, you have to use the bathroom. They would tell you it's outside around the corner. There's a building over there. Okay, that's all they use. They don't like indoor plumbing. For them to take a bath, the only bath where they do use the lakes and the creeks, rivers around their house. In the winter, they have a sauna. They use their sauna in the winter, and then they come out and they pour ice cold water on them. And they'll scrub the dirt off of them. He's got a trailer up there that he's running off of a 12-volt battery for electricity. Okay. They heat their house with wood. They cook on an old-fashioned wood stove. I mean, if you really want to get off the grid, go to West Virginia. You'll find a lot of people off the grid in West Virginia.
Stay away from
Excuse me for chuckling, but you can come over to my house. You want to get off the grid?
Stay away from
there's
the
places around
whites.
here.
But we lived there for a while. It's a culture shock. Going from all the electricity and everything. So, you know, I could handle it, but it's hard. It's especially with kids. It's real hard. It's like go outside. You know, go play. You know, it's hard on them. But I learned a lot. They had, you know, always a big garden up there. You know, they hunt their deer. You know, the only thing I didn't like that though is she didn't can her meat fast enough. She would leave it sitting on the counter for days and then do it. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, I don't really want to eat that. You know, I understand. No electricity. I know there's no refrigeration, but you've got to do it faster. You know, you've got to do something so everybody don't get sick and die.
Is there a salt lick near here?
No.
No?
Well, can I say something to that? Are you finished?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Well, one of the things that's happened in our society, in the United States, we became so rich that we started throwing money at all our problems. I was laughing at what she said because there's an old Russian joke. Americans, they are very hard-working. Yes, they work 30, 40 extra hours a week so they can buy all the latest labor-saving devices. They laugh their asses off at that one. But what we've done is we've weakened ourselves. You know, like you have a hothouse plant. You've got a plant that you started in a windowsill. To get it outside, you have to harden it. You have to take it outside and bring it in, take it outside and bring it in to harden the plant, because what it has grown up with is the expectation that it's going to have the conditions it has in the window there for the rest of its life. It doesn't know it's about to be taken outside into a harder situation. Well, we control our temperature, we clean our air, we sanitize our furniture, we live indoors, we go from the house to the car, to the job, to the car, to the house, and what we've done is weakened our bodies. So the people she's talking about in West Virginia, when they pour ice water over their heads, it's not that big a deal. The human body has all the mechanisms it needs to deal with weather. You know, you don't want to try sleeping in a snowbank. You'll freeze to death. But I have lived in an unheated tin shack through the whole winter. And I tell you, if you got enough blankets, you're going to sleep warm. Could be 8 or 9. I had a habit of waking up with my breath frozen on the blanket over my face, and it would wake me up in the morning because the air would start to warm up and would start dripping ice water into my face. But what I'm saying is that you can do that. There's a change, and you have to expect this from people. If you want to start trying to get people off the grid a little bit more, they have grown up from childhood with the expectation that they are never going to have to face any of the hardships that their grandparents did. And they're wrong. They are weakening themselves, and they're making themselves, and we have made ourselves into people who can only live as wealthy people with cars and air conditioners and electric heaters and thermostats and all that kind of stuff. She was talking about getting into the dirt. I've known people who have died of immunodeficiency. And I also know that they were the extremely clean people. They were the ones with 14 different cleansers under the thing. And you read the cleansers. Well, actually, she came down with what is blood cancer, bone marrow cancer. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, she came down with leukemia, and eventually it killed her. And the first thing the doctors asked her when she showed up with leukemia was, "Well, have you been exposed to any pesticides or strong cleaners?" She's been bathed in them since she was a child, like we all have. And she died eventually of immunodeficiency. Handling dirt, being in a dirty circumstance, tests your immune system. So someone who lives on a farm and bathes once a week, or only when needed, is going to have a stronger immune system than someone who lives in the city in exquisitely clean circumstances and
disinfectant.
Disinfects. I've reached that point in my age where words that I've known for years disappear when I need them. Yeah.
My next door neighbor actually craved dirt. And I've heard of situations like that where you don't get something your body needs in your foods, and you actually eat dirt.
Well, your body,
It's the iron.
Mm-hmm.
iron or various clay
It's more than just iron.
And there's one more
a
thing.
lot
There's
of
been a
things.
scientific study that was done recently that discovered that there are elements in dirt, you have to touch dirt, that actually makes you happier.
Oats will do that too.
If you handle dirt regularly, it releases chemicals in your bloodstream that makes you a happier person.
And walk through the grass barefoot if you want to go to sleep.
Well,
I used to until I had all these chickens.
so I think, well,
And it's therapeutic to jump in manure.
Without being interrupted,
Therapeutic. Manure is very therapeutic. Yes.
When we do this and we try to get people off the grid, we're going to have to expect a great deal of resistance because they're not going to want to change. That's how people are. They don't want to change. They don't want to change how they do things, and you can argue and you can present them with scientific evidence or whatever. It's not going to make a bit of difference. They're not going to change until they have to.
Okay, anybody else?
I've got. If you want to think about the 60s and 70s and 50s, the kids were healthier. Adults were healthier. The reason why is the ground is depleted.
And it's getting more depleted all the time.
Depleted of minerals and stuff.
Yes, it is.
That we're getting sicker because we don't have the natural minerals that we were getting in our fruits and vegetables that we did back then. So now we got more, and it's all processed. The children are heavier. You know, it's all they're doing is sitting in front of TVs.
They're drinking sugar.
Yes.
Sugar's in almost everything.
And they eat the food, but they're not getting the nutrition, and they're starving to death in a land of plenty.
Yeah. I've got a joke for you. You got running water?
Do I have running water?
Yeah.
Well, no. It just kind of sits there.
I bet you do.
Do you have a spring?
The type that you get 2 buckets and you run.
You're running with it.
Running water.
Yeah. We call that breaking a sweat water.
Anybody else want to say anything? Because then I think we should just take a walk and see what we have here.
Yeah,
Who's going to guard the food?
I'll stay here and guard the food.
I'll